The Dr. Pepper.
All right. Do we want to talk about the Canes line that jammed up 280 for hours now or later?
Look, we can talk about it in just a second. And then I'm going to ask you guys if you want to call an audible and if we need to do an allegedly segment about the forum last night so we can really talk about it. Y'all decide. And so just decide. Let me lay this out for you. We're going to come back to Canes. Number 1, happy Wednesday. Number 2, for great content. And so you won't have to miss a thing. Make sure you subscribe to the Rightside at rightsidemedia.org. Allison made something beautiful for us, and you need to get yourself on the email list.
Well, I don't know if it's that beautiful, but it's functional.
Beautiful and functional. And so many of you have already subscribed. We're like, what? Thank you for subscribing, but continue to do so because I am working on our inaugural newsletter, and it's going to be awesome. I have no idea if it is or not. I just said that.
What's the newsletter going to have on it?
Well, the newsletter is going to have the top 5 stories of the week, perhaps based on our stories. We'll have reels. We will also have some written content depending on what we're feeling, which means I will have to write something for it. But I found a layout that I love. I'll show you in the break, and I'm excited. This is going to be fantastic. So it's going to be something we want you to like, share, and subscribe. Not just you, but all of your friends. Upcoming events that we'll be attending, like next Monday night at Brockscat Brewery and other events where we will attend, that'll be in there. So you'll get a weekly newsletter, and you need to get excited. But the first thing in order to get it is rightsidemedia.org, so you can see Allison's beautiful handiwork. Okay, that's numero uno. Numero dos is we have a great show for you today. We have all the news. We have national. We have state. We have hot flash news. It is What the Hell County Wednesday. So who knows what we're going to cover to deal with that?
Who knows what the hell we'll cover?
Who knows what the hell we'll cover? I don't know. Phyllis doesn't know. Ima, Rosebush doesn't know. And Clutus doesn't know. But at some point, we'll know. And that will happen by the end of the show. But first is Cane's Chicken. Second is the forum. JP?
In order of importance.
In order of importance, because chicken.
Okay. So for those who don't know, the only Canes in the state of Alabama for years has been in the first floor of a dorm at Alabama, the University of Alabama. Okay. So I haven't had Canes since I was a freshman at Alabama, which was 4 years ago. And then there was a grand opening of one in Birmingham off of 280. Yes.
I'm sorry. I have to stop you.
What?
I've never been to Canes. Describe Canes. I don't even know what it is, except there's a dog on the side of the building.
Raising Cane's is a chicken restaurant originated from Louisiana, I think. And it's just a Southern, like Zaxby's sort of style, but it's a normal chicken place where you get like toast and fries and coleslaw, except the chicken is amazing.
But okay, people freaking out about it is because the chicken is amazing.
The chicken is amazing. Okay. So the grand opening of Birmingham was yesterday, and the line was crazy on 280. And I actually forgot that it opened today until somebody made a joke at the forum about it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot. And then somebody goes, oh, well, they're open till midnight. And in my head, I was like, I may have to go after the forum. And so I did. Now what we're going to do is play a game of how long did JP sit in the Cane's line to get food?
Okay. And you left the forum at what time?
Like, what was it? 8:15 ish.
Okay. Sinclair.
The line was on the road on 280, like a good size line.
Where did it explain to me where it wrapped around on 280, because I know it wrapped the building, and then did it go down the road that goes to the Walmart?
Yes.
Yeah, it went all the way. I drove by twice yesterday. So there is a point where you can hit it where it's not backed up to the light at Walmart. But then by the time I was driving home, it was backed back up to Walmart.
That's about where it was when I got in there. There were cops like everywhere, like guiding traffic and everything. Yeah. So,
now, was it true if you were one of the first 100 people through, you got free chicken for a year or something?
I don't know. Maybe. Okay. Allegedly. I don't know. But
all right, I'm going 56 minutes.
I'm going 97 minutes.
Oh,
It was about 50 minutes I sat in the drive-through line.
really?
Yes. I got in the line at 8:30, 8:33 to be exact. I know because I took a video when I got in the line, and I was pulling out at about 9:22, 9:21-ish. Yes.
Do they have chewable ice and crinkle fries?
They do.
Isn't all ice chewable?
No, there's a special, the
The
smaller
nugget
ice.
ice?
I'm pretty sure they do.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Looks
The like
like
little ice
little
balls.
Yes,
rabbit-
like the cute,
Look,
like
rabbit
the
pellet.
Yeah.
the cylinder.
The cylinder
Yes.
ice,
The
not the
Chick-fil-A
big-
ice.
Yeah,
Yes.
Chick-fil-A
Yes.
ice, now to be known heretofore as Cane's ice.
At least I think they
Excuse
do.
me,
And-
and crinkle fries.
Yeah, it was. It got to a certain point where I was like, I'm in it. Like I'm dedicated at this point. So I just like turned my music up and just kind of zoned out for 15 minutes. It was worth it. Probably shouldn't have gotten the Dr. Pete, but the chicken was. It was worth it.
You didn't reflect deep thoughts on the forum,
Oh, I did. Yeah.
world peace.
I sat there and I thought about the Roman Empire. Just kidding. But no, it was worth it. But
What'd you get?
I got a box, which is just 4 tenders, I believe, fries, toast, and coleslaw. But I substituted coleslaw with another toast.
The toast must be good. Is it like the Texas toast
Yes.
from the?
Yep.
I've only had the chicken because one of
Hmm.
my children went to school in Mississippi,
Hmm.
and but I have a feeling we're going to be going to Cane's
And
in the
it's-
next couple of days.
It's got the sesame seeds on the crust around it. So it's like
Ooh.
golden brown in the middle,
Mm.
crunchy, like bun on the out with sesame seeds. Oh man.
I mean, I bet the box of food is 3,500 calories, but who cares? It's Cane's.
Can you get grilled chicken or is that illegal?
I don't know actually.
They would judge you if
Yeah.
you went through line and asked for grilled chicken.
I gotta say
Wow.
too, like the workers in there, it wasn't because like as you pull up, you could see there was a window to the entire kitchen, and it had to be like 25 people all just like. I mean, it was
you can
insane.
see in the kitchen in the
Yes.
drive-through.
Yeah, like when
Ooh.
you turn the corner of the drive-through, you know how Chick-fil-A's got like the window you can see. Yeah, the
Yeah.
whole like side is a window of their entire kitchen.
Oh, wow.
And everybody was like doing something, and it was so many people. I felt bad for them because I mean it was like that all day. But
I kind of wish that when you said everybody was in there kung fu fighting,
yeah,
that would have made good music.
that's true. It's like when you kick the top of an anthill and they're all like, that's what it looked like. But yeah, 50 minutes.
Wow, impressive. And then our friend decided to go to
The Casa.
Taco Casa. That was funny.
Yeah, y'all kind of did a switcheroo because that has been your go-to.
Yeah, I probably would have gone there if Cane's didn't open yesterday.
Blech. Taco Casa.
Have you
Blech.
have you had it?
Yes, just once.
What'd you get?
Who knows? Some slop on a plate.
Oh,
Bleh.
Their nachos. I think I had tacos when, I mean, it's been years. But my brother loves Taco Casa.
you gotta get the burritos. And
What's the famous thing? Like, isn't there something really gross that everybody gets?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, I'll have to look.
the
I just know
queso
that-
beefy nachos. Are,
Oh, that's it.
they're good when there's no cockroach legs in there.
Okay, that's enough.
Oh, that was my fault. Not that.
That is enough.
No, remember when I threw the cockroach in his nachos? It wasn't Taco Casa. No, they did not put cockroaches.
Yeah, it was her.
awesome.
Oh, yeah. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Oh no, it didn't
No, it
happen.
happened. No, it happened.
It happened.
Anyways,
Okay, so
Maybe I'll go there after the show today.
rating for Cane's
ooh.
out of 10.
I'll give it like a 9-1.
Okay, I need you to rate Zaxby's and Chick-fil-A compared to Cane's.
Zaxby's is like an 8.5.
Okay.
Chick-fil-A 8.3,
Okay.
8.2.
All right.
I give
So
Cane's
there's
like a
not
9.1.
much difference.
No, 8.5 to 9.1
Okay,
is a
time
big
out.
jump.
I'm gonna check out.
But the chicken, though, smells heavenly, right? I mean, the Cane's chicken.
Oh yeah,
Like it's crispy.
yes.
Okay.
The cane sauce too.
Yeah. The sauce is what you go for. It's kind of like Guthrie's, but it's
All right, I'm
Cane's.
looking up their ingredients. If they cook with tallow, I'm
She's
in.
going.
Here we
that's
go.
her thing.
I wouldn't count on it.
Do they have MSG?
Oh, good grief! I hope not.
I'm gonna do some research.
Let's
Allegedly,
Allegedly.
garlic powder. Hey, okay. Well, anyway, I'll do. Here's their. Oh Lord! Don't look at the caloric content. Canes. What oil and does Canes menu type oil? Soybean oil. Oh,
You know what?
you're gonna
JP,
have man boobs.
plug your ears.
Ah.
That's
or,
what
or as we call them in our
soybeans do.
family, moobs.
Moves.
Moobs.
Okay. While Allison pours cold water.
It's actually better. It doesn't have MSG. This is way better than Chick-fil-A for sure.
By the way,
I don't know about Zaxby's.
speaking of MSG.
Never frozen chicken.
Okay.
It's breaded and it's breaded just before it's breaded and fried just before they serve it to you.
Okay.
Hand battered.
I need to know
Cooked
what
fresh.
good Chinese restaurants are near us.
Why you need Chinese?
Well, I need Tu Buffet. Because
don't
when
know
you
buffet.
said no, I really don't want Tu Buffet. Why you had no boyfriend?
You and Joe dip.
I want Chinese food because I like it.
It's good.
And
best.
that's the one thing we haven't discussed on the show is where do you go for good Chinese? Like there's a place on 280 behind Super Chicks.
I don't know
Their
about that place.
custard's horrible. No, their custard's not horrible. Yes, it is. But their chicken is great. But behind there is
Wait,
good.
the Chinese place has custard?
No, the Super Chicks
Oh.
has terrible custard, good chicken. But behind that restaurant is a Chinese restaurant that we like to go to. But where else do people go?
You go, okay, we got to get to the forum, but I will drop the Chinese. Our favorite place is China Doll 2 over off Valleydale.
China Doll.
Yes. Is
Yes,
that the
by,
one
by the Publix?
by the Brass Bear?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, it
Okay.
is sketchy as all get out. When you walk in, you'll be like,
I've been there, but it's been a while.
but it's good.
Okay,
Get it to
thank
go.
you.
Don't go eat there. It's kind of depressing.
Don't go. Okay. I won't go. All right. Now, I promised 2 stories. 1, Canes. 2, the forum.
The form.
The forum. JP, Allison Sinclair,
Hmm.
what did y'all think? And while they're gathering their thoughts, it was Hoover Public Library last night at 6:00. Many of you watched online. Thank you so much.
We had a ton of people watching online.
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yes, sir.
If you missed it, you can actually go rewatch it. And I'm actually going to drop the link to where you can rewatch it in the comments. So do not miss out on this great forum that we had last night. You can go in the comments on the stream that you're watching, and the entire forum is there for you to watch after the fact. So
Thanks, JP. All right. Thoughts.
All right, I'll give you my overarching thoughts first. Now, this one was weird because I wasn't on stage, which was really, really hard for me.
I know.
I did not moderate this one, which it's hard for other people to have a microphone and not me. I mean, let's be honest.
That's why I used to carry around a bedazzled microphone.
So I was in the audience and I had a very different perspective than probably you did. So JP and I were on one side, you were on the other side.
Wait a minute. I'm going to be really upset. Were y'all texting during the forum?
nah.
No, we
Okay.
really didn't.
Mm.
Okay. I didn't want to miss out on any hot goss.
No, we weren't. But it was interesting being a spectator instead of in it. Y'all know me, or you may or may not yet, but you should. Okay, if the lieutenant governor forum was Jerry Springer, last night was C-SPAN.
Yep.
And I prefer Jerry Springer. It was really, really good. I thought the content, if you're a policy nerd, kind of like me, I mean, I do like getting deeper into some of these questions. I thought it was really, really good. And I was very impressed with all the candidates had good answers. Nobody seemed to really shy away from anything. That did happen in the lieutenant governor's forum a little bit more, where you were like, I'm not so sure you really know or are equipped. I didn't get that feeling. I thought everybody did well. But everybody was so serious, and it just had such a different feel. It's a different office though. And being a United States Senator is serious. So I get that. But I don't know. Life's so serious. I wish it had been a little more fun, but you can't force it. What?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what I wanted.
Well, no, I agree. Each race is kind of like its own different thing. And what was different about the lieutenant governor forum was that was before John Wall even got in the race. And that, I think, I could be wrong, was really the first public forum of all the candidates at the time. So I think that contributed to it. And there was a lot more of like urgency to do, like, to get your good sound bites or whatever. Also, the personality of the candidates in the lieutenant governor forum. I mean, there was Dean Odle, who, I mean, he's a flamboyant and
gregarious.
Yeah, and his crew in the crowd also is the same. So I think the races were just different. However, I also think you do last night's forum before the Trump endorsement of Barry, it may be a little different. I could be wrong. I got the vibe Barry was ultra confident, almost to his demise a little bit. I mean, he gave great answers because he's educated. He's a congressman. He knows what he's talking about. But it almost at one point was like he was putting his feet up on the table, leaning back. Like he was like, I got this. Like, why do I even need to be here? And I thought Seth Burton, I think this is the first race he's run for. Seems like a great guy. Maybe needs to get a little more experience. Shelton Dees was, I don't know. He seemed a little bit reserved. I don't know. I didn't think he showed much at all, to be honest with you. I thought Jared did great. Those events are just right up Jared Hudson's alley. I feel like if you put a mic in front of Jared and just let him talk, and he can win people over. So if I'm going to pick a winner, whatever, I thought Jared killed it. And I think Rodney Walker did really well too. He seemed like a really personable guy. He gave great answers. He didn't filibuster, and he seemed really personable. So I thought Rodney did very well too. And personally, I don't know what y'all thought. I kind of thought Steve Marshall was like going through the motions a little bit. And actually, somebody who watched the forum said that on their own too. I don't know. He gave good answers because, I mean, he's been there, done that, and he knows what he's talking about. But just the vibe, it was kind of like he was just like, oh, sorry, what? Oh, yeah. Like, he didn't seem like he was present. So that was kind of my thoughts. But I think the vibes of this race is much different. And actually, the kind of the picture I had of how this race was going into it, I felt like the vibe of the forum from each candidate reflected it perfectly. Ultra confident Barry, Steve kind of dropping, Jared's kind of rising and seeing, and I hate to be, but the polling on the others is very low. So I didn't know what to expect from them going into it. But that was kind of my thoughts. I agree. The quality was good, but this race is just a different demeanor and vibe than the lieutenant governor forum.
The content was excellent. I agree. It was excellent. This had, to use that Bush era word that's annoying but is effective, it had gravitas because the office is different. So they were dead serious about what they were doing. But you could tell they wanted to lighten the mood by the time we got to the lightning round. And they were funny. I agree. It is a Barry Moore, Jared Hudson, Steve Marshall race. But Rodney Walker did a great job.
He did.
I was impressed. I was delighted. I was surprised.
Yeah.
A little bit. But why would I be after he listed off all the businesses he owned? He's that person you mistakenly underestimate because he is so quiet and well-mannered.
Polite.
Very polite. His wife is beautiful and kind. Like the kind of person that you're like, wow. And then you find out more about him and you go, huh. So good people do exist. They're just not in politics. But I do believe that it was, I'm just saying, I mean, maybe there's some good ones, but, based on our conversation 2 days ago, but I do believe it was a Barrymore, Jared, Steve Marshall with Rodney kind of coming in right there with them.
Yeah.
Just not maybe ready yet. I don't know. People will decide who's ready. I thought Seth Burton gave good answers. I appreciated his honesty. And I think that Dr. D's, I don't know his story. It's probably very interesting. He was very reserved compared to what I was expecting from him. What were people saying online?
Well, there was a lot of bias. I mean, we had a lot of campaign comments, but other than that, most of the people that commented, and this is them comments, I'm just relaying, they said Barry and Jared are they're kind of two that they're, there was a handful actually that said those are the two they're kind of leaning towards. So.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I don't know, like your assessment was kind of actually how exactly I was picturing it in my head of, we kind of saw it as, the polling shows it's kind of a 3-horse race mainly right now. But I thought Rodney really, if there's anybody that made like the biggest climb in my view in terms of the current, I thought Rodney Walker made that.
Mm-hmm. He's a very kind, genuine person.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess too, my thing, it felt like everybody was really tired, which you're getting to that point. You're 70 days away and, the adrenaline's wearing off and you're tired. And honestly, they're together. Like that group is together every day. Like they had lunch together and maybe had breakfast together yesterday, and so.
All the candidates?
Yeah. I mean, they're all going to the same events. They've heard the speeches a million times. They know what's coming. Are we going to be done with this?
No. We can pick it up on the other side.
Thought that actually my daughter, my 17-year-old was there last night. She had an interesting insight. So we'll finish this and maybe get to the montage in the next segment. You're listening to The Right Side. We'll be right back.
Time with Pamela Casey, candidate for Alabama Attorney General.
Pamela started her career in the Attorney General's office in Alabama and became the Assistant Attorney General and then later on the Deputy Attorney General.
Pamela then became elected District Attorney of Blount County and was reelected in 2016 and in 2022.
In this interview, we discuss what makes her qualified for the role as Attorney General in Alabama and get to know her background, and even some fun questions just to get to know Pamela as a person.
We hope you enjoy the following conversation with Pamela Casey. Welcome. We are joined by District Attorney Pamela Casey, who is also running for Attorney General of Alabama. Welcome. How are you?
Good. Thank y'all for having me. It's a beautiful studio you have here.
Thank you. So let's just dive in. What qualifies you to be Alabama's next Attorney General?
Well, I'm the only one in this race that's actually tried a criminal jury trial. I've actually, for the last almost 20 years, have been working on behalf of the state of Alabama, putting killers and predators and human traffickers in prison and protecting our families and our children. I've been in front of the Court of Criminal Appeals, the Court of Civil Appeals, the Alabama Supreme Court, all the federal courts, and really had the ability to handle any job within that AG's office. I actually worked there. That's where I started my career. Assistant Attorney General. I was in capital litigation, our death penalty cases, and violent crimes, so going across the state prior to getting elected DA.
And who was the Attorney General? Was that Troy
King?
Yeah.
General King at the time.
Okay. Wow. I did not know that.
I didn't either.
What do you think the biggest weakness in Alabama's criminal justice system is today?
We do not have enough time for me to tell you all the weaknesses.
Okay, we got about 3 minutes for this answer.
3 minutes. Number one, sentencing guidelines has kind of taken over prosecutors and judges' ability to sentence appropriately. So we have these repeat offenders that are continuing to get out. We really fill out a worksheet and you put a number and it tells me, is this a prison in or prison out? And I don't think the public understands this. It's not if you look at the statutes that's written, a Class C felony is a year and a day to 10 years. That's not the way the worksheets work. Your first offense, you are not going to prison, even if you break into someone's home and steal everything that's in their house. under the worksheets, it doesn't work that way. So that came out in 2013. Those were voluntary, and I voluntarily didn't do them until I was told that I had to do them. And so I think that's one of the main issues affecting the criminal justice system right now is we can't put offenders, especially, I mean, and repeat offenders. If you look, somebody can commit multiple crimes before they're eligible to go to prison. And let's say you
before they're eligible
to go to prison. Nonviolent offenses, you got your burglaries, your thefts, your drug cases. And so what's even more frustrating, let's say you're in non-prison on the worksheets and you get out on community corrections, or let's say you're going to probation and you keep testing positive for drugs. Every time you come in, you're hot for meth. They finally file a revocation. The judge has got to dip you, dunk you before they could ever potentially revoke you. And so I don't think the public understands, we talk about prison overcrowding and people are saying, oh, there's somebody in prison that just had a little pot on them. I'm going to tell you, I think that's very rare. And if it's because they had just a little pot on them, they probably had a very long priors, habituals to even be eligible, or they could not abide by the rules of probation to keep themselves out of jail. So, I mean, I think we've got to work on our sentencing structure. I'm a huge proponent of truth in sentencing. 3 means 3, 5 means 5, 10 means 10, 30 means 30. And I think that would change our prison overcrowding. I think it would change. It would let me tell victims, yeah, they're going to be in jail for 3 years or 5 years or 10 years. So I think that's one of the main issues that we currently have with the criminal justice system in Alabama is our sentencing structure.
Can I ask a quick follow-up question?
Yes.
So what makes the difference? Is it just who's filling out? Is it literally just a worksheet?
It's literally a worksheet. So I'm going to circle.
Like a ditto from back in
the 80s? It gives me a list of the crimes. I circle and it gives me a score and I put it in a little box. And then I come down here and I say, do they have any other priors? 0 to 1 gets a number, 2 to 4 gets a number, 5, and then I give it another little number. And then I add the numbers up at the end, and I have a little book. I flip to the back, and I go, okay, well, if they scored this number, this is what I can do. They're in or they're out. It would blow your mind.
Wow.
And I'll tell you what else people in Alabama don't understand. I give someone a 15-year sentence. Just this week, I had a sex offender who had a rape second. A rape second would have been eligible for 2 to 20 years. That was off the worksheets, right? Because it was a violent crime. 15 years was his sentence. I got notice he was up for parole after 2 years and 7 months.
What?
Yes, absolutely. 2 years and 7 months up for parole for a rape second and a sodomy second. Absolutely.
And is he out?
No, we'll have a parole hearing. We oppose those, but it comes down to the parole board. The parole board could release them. Now, when he gets out, he'll be a sex offender, but that doesn't stop the fact that there's a victim out there that when you say, and I have to tell my victims, look, 15 doesn't mean 15. You're going to EOS earlier. And so, but it was just another example. It's almost a slap in the face to the law enforcement officers who work it, the prosecutors who work it, and the victim who endured it, for us not to be able to make sure those violent offenders are staying where they need to be.
Wow. I had no idea.
None. I have so many questions and so little time. Okay. Do you think Alabama has an activist judge problem?
So one good thing about Alabama's judges, I think, is that we elect our judges, our local judges. Federal court judges are appointed by the president. I've got a really good friend who's on the bench, a federal judge now that we work together with the AG's office. So we have had them. I know that when I was at the AG's office, we would have situations where death.
Welcome back to the Right Side. Some of you are wondering, wait, what have I tuned in for? Because you were at the forum last night or you've subscribed to our email. It's the right show at the right place at the right time. We are the Right Side, and this is where you want to be. And we ask that you like, share, and subscribe to the Right Side so you don't miss a minute. You don't miss any of the insight or the fun that we have on this show. We're news, we're thought, and we're infotainment. Okay? This is the Right Side. Now,
is that an actual, or did you just coin infotainment?
I think.
Well, I was going to give you props.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's been out there, but it's caffeine and the Holy Ghost. So
It's a wicked combo.
thanks. Thank you. Friends, final thoughts on last night.
this is still a race. I think that's what I walked away. There's a lot of good information out there that I think the voters, what I'm seeing is that the voters are paying more attention to a lot of races, which I think is really encouraging. And in the Senate race, you still have 47% of the people undecided, which I think is a very large number considering the name recognition that Steve Marshall has. I mean, he's been in office, statewide office, for 9 years, and he has dropped from 39% in the polls to 22%. Barry Moore, sitting congressman, Trump endorsed, Turning Point USA endorsed, crypto PAC money just flooding in. I mean, millions of dollars spent on him. I guess he's gone up about 10 points, maybe a little more since the Trump endorsement, which to me is not as significant as you would think. Jared Hudson started out at like 2%, has some name ID because he ran in the Jefferson County Sheriff's race. So, and his work with Covenant Rescue, but he continues to climb. You know, he's raising money. It's all like personal, what would you call it? Single donors. He doesn't have PAC money, and he continues to raise money really well. So everything's kind of converging together. So I encourage everyone to go back and watch, you know, even though there weren't chairs being thrown, it was very informative. I think you can get an idea of the personalities just based on how they answer questions, their mannerisms. I mean, Steve Marshall, you said, and he even said it last night. He said, I'm not the most fun or the most entertaining or something. You know, that's just his personality, which is kind of great because he's steady. He's pretty much always the same. There's not this fluctuation. Yeah. He's just kind of himself. Jared Hudson was very much Jared Hudson. I swear he needs to be a preacher instead of, you know, like he's passionate. He brings the heat. Barry Moore has a personality and he is able to engage with, you know, he interacted with the audience more last night, especially in the lightning round. He knows a lot because he's been in Congress and was able to answer a lot of the questions. So those are the three. Rodney and Seth and Shelton, you know, kudos to them for putting themselves out there. It's not easy to run, Abs, you know that. It's hard to make yourself vulnerable in so many ways. They're polling at each of them 0 to 1%. I'm not sure they have a chance, but it was interesting. I wanted to drop this. I asked my daughter who, it's funny, she knows the names, but she doesn't really know. So she kept calling Barry Moore Arnold Mooney like 3 times. You know, Arnold Mooney. And see, Arnold was there, but he wasn't on stage. And I kept going, when did you talk to Arnold? Anyway, I said, who do you think won? Even though it wasn't a debate, you know, who do you think won? And she said, Jared Hudson or the other Navy guy, which is Seth Burton. And I said, okay, that's interesting. Why? And she said, because they talked about the people more than themselves. And I was like, that is very astute, actually, because you did hear them talk about, you know, I want to go to the Senate. We serve, you know, we serve the people. This is what the people want. Barry and Steve have lots of experience, but you heard more, I did this, I did that, I sponsored this, I, which is good because you're establishing your voting record or your track record on issues. But I thought from a 17-year-old that has a little bit of knowledge, but an outside perspective, she liked hearing more about you know, I'm going to go to protect you to bring this back to the people of Alabama, the people instead of I.
Yeah.
Which that's interesting because they're both military. And you know, and the military people that we know are very much focused the same way. A takeaway that doesn't actually have to do with what they talked about. And let me first say thank you to Stephanie Holden Smith and Alabama Policy Action, and also to Grayson Everett, who did a great job. It was great fun sitting with them. Nobody cracked up. We focused. But I thought something was very interesting about Rodney Walker that people who are social climbers and wannabes could learn. And that is that true wealth, because that man is extremely wealthy. You do not have to tell people what you have. You do not have to parade it. You do not have to talk about the people you know or the people you wished you knew. He just exists, and he and his wife do a good job at what they do. They develop relationships, and there is a humility about them that is shocking for somebody like them. And that was something in our social climbing climate where most people in Montgomery and DC are absolutely owned by lobbyists because they worship at the altar of money. Obviously, Rodney is not polling the same way other people are, but his life example shouted last night, and that was the thing I was most impressed with.
Yeah, he was seems very genuine, very humble, very much is running for the right reasons.
Okay. Can I be the one that says it? Because I'm just going to be honest. My biggest takeaway from the night.
Yes, sir.
Uh-oh.
And I'm a big, I pick up on energy and vibes from people and crowds, I feel like. And that, I don't know. I feel like the Barrymore crowd is mighty cocky right now. And I mean, they're in the lead. They're Trump endorsed. So sure, I can understand it a little bit. However, I don't know. I felt like it was a turn off for me in terms of if I'm somebody that is going to figure out, is genuinely undecided, and you've got Barry who just, y'all can tell me if I'm wrong, but his whole demeanor on the stage was just almost borderline disrespectful of I shouldn't even this race is over. And his people, I felt like the campaigns, I mean, obviously they're for their guy, but the vibes with this race is done. What's even the point of doing this? I don't know. That was kind of my biggest takeaway of he's kind of checked out. He doesn't even have to sell you. I mean, like I said, he knows what he's talking about because he's a congressman. So if you ask him policy, he knows what he's talking about. He's got answers because he's been fighting on these issues up in DC. So he can give you great answers. I don't know. I didn't get the vibe from him that he was genuinely trying to win the people over. It was just kind of play the hits. I got this. Play the cards close to my chest. Whatever. This race is done. I got the Trump endorsement, dude. What else do I need? That was my biggest takeaway, honestly. If I'm somebody that is genuinely trying to be won over, I don't know if that would be a turnoff for me. So that was kind of my biggest takeaway.
My turnoff was faking like they won the forum last night and some fake press release. And as somebody who ran for office before and made the runoff, I know the game and how it's played. And I get it. Well played, guys, making it look like there was some kind of official announcement when y'all made the announcement. On stage, everybody appeared engaged and friendly. I've only met Barrymore a couple of times, and I'm sure would be great to hang out with. But I agree. The thing that drove me the most crazy was he won the forum. Said who?
Yeah.
Because we did the forum. So you don't just get to appoint yourself the winner.
I mean,
just saying.
That's what they all do.
I know.
Well,
but it's just annoying.
Yeah.
Sorry. What I mean, but Barry's got a 95% conservative voting record. He's proven, on paper, Barry is a great candidate. But I'm just, and it may piss people off, whatever. But I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
The vibe. If I'm somebody how is this person going to serve me? It would have been a turnoff from the vibe of not just Barry, but the crew last night. Not that it did anything, but they're just rolling in and come on,
Yeah.
It's not like they were, whereas like your daughter said, Seth and Jared were looking in the audience, appealing to the people. They want their votes and trying to win them over. I just didn't get that vibe from Barry.
I just thought, he was running late and he got there like 10 minutes before, which traffic was horrendous. Even at like 4 when I was leaving my house, it was awful because of the canes and whatever. But I did notice he did seem distracted, but I just kind of was like, maybe he came in late. You're doing so many events all the time, every day. It's almost like when you're in a band and you don't know what city you're in and you're like, where am I? Here we go. Okay, another microphone. I just kind of took it as that. But and I haven't really interacted with their campaign much. I haven't been out to really see how they do have a very active presence online. And I'm guessing it probably in our feed from last night. They are very passionate about Barrymore for sure. But I just kind of took it as maybe he just was tired and disheveled from being late or something. Because that would be a shame. I mean, he is one of the most conservative, if not, I mean, for sure in the Alabama delegation, but even in the country, I would say he has one of the most conservative votes possible. I don't know how you get higher than 95. He has the right track record. He could serve the people well. I just hope it's so easy. Like, maybe what you're seeing, you get up there and you get in this bubble of, you think you're pretty great. And you've got one of those little congressional member pins on, and literally traffic in DC stops for you. They will shut everything down so you can cross the street. Well, eventually, if you're not careful, that goes to your head. And then you come back to Alabama, we're just trying to get gas and groceries, and you look really out of touch. I hope that's not happening, because if he is our next senator, we don't need that in DC. There's plenty of that. Okay, we have a guest that is coming on, and he has a meeting to get to at 11. So can we go ahead and call him?
If you can give me his number.
I already texted it to you.
Did you?
You have it.
This is awesome.
Representative Reed Ingram is going to join us. Maybe I should give him a heads up. This is just live in radio show, podcast in real time. But somebody just texted me and said Rand Paul has a higher Liberty score. Huh.
He does.
What is it?
It's like 97, 98, okay. Something like that.
So we're giving Reed Ingram a call now. They just passed, and this is pretty impressive, especially considering all that is going on with Ledbetter and the speaker right now. They passed on the House floor yesterday, Reed Ingram's bill to have prayer return to schools.
Awesome.
Which is huge.
On my iPad, I think I've got something saved about what's happened to our kids and our schools and really our countries since prayer was taken out by Madeline Murray O'Hare, who died. I think she was murdered and her body strewn about in the desert. So good things have not happened to us.
Okay.
This is great. Oh, I'm so excited, Allison Sinclair.
Representative Ingram, are you there? Maybe.
Perhaps. I just hung up.
Oh, nuggets.
We're going to do this because, he has a meeting at 11, but I think it's really important to get him on and kind of a little bit of the history of this bill and why it's important, what it does. Oh, wait, I hear.
Yeah, he should be on.
All right. Representative Ingram, are you there?
I am here. Thank you. I'm sorry I've been so hard to get a hold of. It's been kind of crazy today at the State House.
Well,
but thank you for having me on.
Is there a day that it's not crazy at the State House?
Absolutely not. If it's not crazy, we're not doing anything, are we?
Hey, that's what my son says.
Fleas that come with a dog.
Yep. Oh. He's like, if you don't have haters, you're not really doing anything worthwhile. So crazy and haters kind of go together. But thanks for joining us today. I really want to talk about it's House Bill, I think 511. Is that right? 511?
511. Yes, ma'am.
That you sponsored bringing prayer back to schools. Can you give us a little bit of the history of how prayer got out of schools and why you felt like now is the time to bring this bill forward?
Well, in 1962, it was on the federal side, it was taken out. The separation between, prayer and state, I guess. And it was just very problematic. But with all the lawsuits and Southern Poverty Law Centers and atheists that and haters that didn't want it, anybody to have Christ or have any type of religion, didn't want it in the schools, and so it was taken out. Now I think that we've waited too long not to put it back in. We've got kids that are seeking crime or seeking mental health, or they don't know if they're a male or a female or a furry, and there's nothing to gravitate to, because you've got so many kids that are coming into the classroom, especially public school, that have never had the opportunity to go to church, has never had the opportunity in their house or their circles to know what a prayer is and how to pray. There's a lot of kids now that don't even know how to pray at all, and don't know don't know anything about Christ or any religion. I'm not saying any religion's any better than the other than I am a Christian, and I do believe in Jesus. But we want them to have religion. We want them to have the opportunity to have that worship time, the prayer time. And if you put the prayer back into the classroom, these kids that have never been around it because of their parents have never been around it as a generational thing, they will start, when they feel like the seed is planted, maybe they'll want to go to church. Maybe they'll want to hang out with the good people that are not having the problems and crime, and our jails may not fill up, our prisons won't fill up, or, mental health will go down. We're up 200% in mental health. There's so many distractions these days away from God that maybe we need to put down those phones and pick up a Bible, or and I'm not trying to sound like, some type of Jesus freak. It's just a fact. When you go to church, when you believe in something like that, it's healthier for your soul. It's healthier for everybody around you, because of you've got somebody you can talk with, and somebody to worship with, and somebody to pray to and believe in. And it's just we've got to get that back into our schools, and we've got to get the pledge. Most of them are doing the pledge now, but the pledge is so important to this country. And this bill that I passed yesterday, does not make it mandatory that every child has to stand up and pray. It doesn't make it mandatory they have to participate. It makes it mandatory that the teacher asks, does anybody want to stand up and lead a prayer today? We don't want to do it on the intercom. We don't want it to be artificial. We want it to feel the heart of that child in that classroom with others connecting. And so it's on a volunteer basis. And the pledge is a mandatory, but the kids don't have to participate. We realize there's kids here from Korea and China and exchange students, and that people are here for economic development that are coming into our country to open up, the Hondas and the Hyundais of the world and Mercedes. And we realize that if you don't want to stand up and say the pledge, that's fine. But it's going to be available in the classroom, and the prayer is going to be an option in the classroom.
Have you gotten any pushback?
The only things I've been getting emails from all over I'd say the country. It's been outside of the country, but every one of them I've gotten are atheist, or they don't want their child in the classroom when that's going on. And so, as far as Christians, I don't know that I've gotten any pushback from believers. I don't know if I've gotten any pushback from any other religion. Now, we did have a couple of them saying we'd like for it to be a non-denominational, and we made that a non-denominational. We'd like for it to say that, that the kids could step out of the classroom if they didn't want to hear it. And we're sensitive to that. So we made it to where the Board of Education or the governing body would, whether it be the city or Board of Education or county, would say that they would come up with the regulations and the restrictions on that. But, they can't change the guts of it. They can't change the part of it that the child has the option to stand up and pray after the pledge or before the pledge at the beginning of the classroom. And just like we do in our committee meetings, just like we do on our all of our meetings that we have here at the State House, whether we're in session, when we gavel in, we pray, we say the pledge. It's and we've never had anybody push back. We've had people that would want to lead it, or kids that want to come up and lead it, or members that want to get up and lead. But it's always been a positive, and it's always get you started off in a positive mood.
So can any student from any religion volunteer to pray?
Yes. And I know that's kind of a heartburn, with the Muslims and with us. But we don't know of anybody in the state of Alabama that would want to get up and show out, especially when you're talking about elementary kids, junior high kids, and you may have some of it in high school. But we never had that, and we've always had Muslims in this country. We've got more now, but we don't foresee that to be a problem, and that's the reason that we put it into the governing body's hands to put the perimeters up.
Do you think, just as you have mentioned Muslims, and that obviously we have more now, with the proliferation of prayer rooms and prayer times being made available for those children, would that stop that from happening and saying, no, any kind of prayer is going to happen voluntarily in that classroom?
Yes, and I think that other states putting rooms in for Muslims to pray in that face the West is very problematic for me. I don't think that we make any more accommodations for any religion, any certain religion. I think that especially when it takes up a room, that you've got limited space in these schools, and you're going to designate a room that you can go and pray in. The classroom needs to be starting off the classroom, and that's where the prayer is. And if you want to go worship after that, you worship at home, or worship in a study outside the flagpole or on the football field or something like that. But that is crazy to have a room so that Muslims can go face the West and pray. That would never happen as long as I'm in office in this state.
Speaker Ledbetter has been under scrutiny, let's say, the past few weeks, with a lot of people saying he's not a true conservative. He's, a lot of things. What was his response to this bill? Was he supportive of it?
Well, let me be honest with you. He was always been supportive of this bill. I've had it for 2 years. It was me that was a little hesitant because I had to work out some issues to be able to, it's not a compromise, but to work out all of the things that we could possibly have on litigation. I don't think it's fun to be sued from people, not so much me, but the state wasting money. We've seen that on the marijuana bill that we've passed and stuff like that. So we don't need to pass litigation that's going to pass bills that's going to cost the state money. So we've worked out that, and it's taken me a while. But to answer your question, the speaker picked this bill. He's been very supportive of this bill. When he comes on rules, it was his first pick, and he demanded that this bill be first on the agenda to make sure that we passed it before we passed anybody else's other bill.
Mm-hmm. That's encouraging.
How are you feeling about the chances of it passing the Senate?
I'm very encouraged. I have, if I had to give it a forecast, I would say it'd be a 98%. So we have senators that have reached out to me and asked if they could carry the bill. I have not committed to anybody yet. I'm looking at their load and what all they have, on their plate. But we will find a sponsor today, pick a sponsor today to handle it, and we'll have it in committee hopefully next week that we can move this bill fast.
Wow.
This would be crazy because the 10 Commandments bill came out of committee the end of last week. Is that it would have to be displayed in the schools? Is that correct?
That's correct. If they raise the money, this isn't my bill, but if they raise the money, and it maybe get a little noisy here in a minute because I've got an 11 o'clock meeting. I'm going to be walking through the halls, but I'm still listening. So, that bill, if it gets passed, people would have it would have to be private dollars to get it into the classroom and to maintain it. And so I think it's a good bill. It's controversial. It is one denomination, and And so it's going to have some controversy, of course, but anytime we can get God back into the classroom, I think it's a positive way. But we need to do it to where it's not being all blatant and being in people's face. It's about to grow somebody's heart to God organically and not be all up in their face about it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yes.
It sure does.
It's fantastic.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate it. Keep us posted and try and hold that place down. We need to lower the crazy level.
We'll do our best. Thank y'all so much for having me, and thank you for what you do for this day.
Thank you.
Have a blessed day.
So Reed Ingram is awesome. I wanted to throw something out there because he used a statistic, because you do think, well, prayer in school. It used to be normal, and now it's...
Didn't we do it over the intercom? Like we would all stand and say the pledge, and then they would... What?
I went to a Christian school,
so
we prayed at the beginning of every class.
We did the pledge and the prayer on the intercom every morning at my Christian school, but we did not do the prayer when I went to public school and elementary school.
I was growing up, I think we did.
You did. Chris said that they
Even
had
in
the
public
prayer
school.
and the pledge, and
yeah,
by the time you guys were done, it was done. But here's what's interesting, and it's funny that the people who don't want prayer tell on themselves and tell on the fact that prayer to God, not prayer for itself, prayer to God is quite powerful. Here's what's happened since 1962, just a few things off of Dr. Google. Violent crime increased by 500% to 544%. Divorce rates doubled or tripled. These are all from various Facebook posts across the webs. Pregnancy increased 200%. Suicide tripled, a 300% increase. SAT scores dropped by roughly 80 points, which is about 10%. Between 1970 and 2021, there were 1,924 school shootings. As of 2025, 52% of Americans, though, support allowing public school teachers to lead class prayers. The court rulings, Engel versus Vitale, did not ban all prayer, but rather school-sponsored organized prayer. But despite the ban, religious identity remains a significant part of life for many teens, with 36% of religiously affiliated teens having friends who share their faith. So it's very interesting that there is a definite impact on prayer's removal. Remember, Madeline Murray O'Hare was the woman who got it removed, who was an angry atheist. Just remember, one person can do something for good or evil. It's up to us what that is going to be. So we're thankful to Reed Ingram for bringing this back and letting the children lead the prayer and heading a couple of things off at the pass. And we will keep you posted. And I'm so glad that you reached out and got him on today. Also, we need to go down to his farm market.
Oh, JP, have you ever been to Sweet Creek Farm Market?
I'm not.
Oh, my word.
Oh,
It's fun.
We're going.
And cute.
We're going.
I know you like the cute little farmers markets.
Oh yeah, I love to go and take the pictures and post them on Instagram.
And buy the
Hashtag
birdhouses.
cute farm. Yeah.
Yummy ice cream.
Okay, hold on. They do have really good milkshakes.
And
okay,
great
well, now
cookies and good chicken salad and barbecue. Oh my gosh, I'm hungry already.
Yeah, why'd you do that?
I'm sorry.
It is lunchtime. We started out with Cane's. All right, y'all stick around. We've got the montage. We've got hot flash news. You're listening to The Right Side. We'll be right back.
Would sit in federal court.
Y'all have heard us talk about Inspire Advisors, how Paul Breyer and his team at Inspire Advisors will help you grow your investment portfolio while also screening out companies that don't stand for conservative Christian principles.
Paul and his team are experts on what they call biblically responsible investing. And for a limited time, they're hosting a free class that you can register for.
Check out the class and register for free at moneypatternwealth.com. It's godly, it's conservative, and it's financial freedom.
Again, go to Inspire Advisors at moneypatternwealth.com. Check them out and tell them you heard about them at Rightside Radio.
Yes. for 10 and 12 years because the judges wouldn't rule on them and there was no timeline for them to rule. So if they opposed the death penalty, they would have their original trial court habeas process and say, okay, we'll get you an order out. 10 years would go by and you would not have judges issuing orders. So I have seen that in the federal courts, not so much in the state courts because we elect our judges. They answer to the people. They know that in 6 years, they're going to be up for an election and they're going to have an opponent if they are not doing what essentially, and that's a hard position to be.
Yeah.
You know, my father-in-law was a judge for 20-something years. And he said, if you do your job, if when you leave, both sides are mad at you because that means that you were fair. Because one side didn't leave super happy and the other side super upset. And that the public, generally speaking, half of them will like you and half of them won't if you're doing the job right.
I like that.
That's good.
We should remember that in general
Truly.
in life.
Yeah, we should put that on the quote board.
You need a quote board.
We do. Like, there's so many things that have been said in here. We're like, we should probably write that down.
You need to write a book. I wish I'd started at the beginning of the campaign trail.
Writing all the stories.
A local defense attorney said, Pamela, keep a journal. I'm a writer. And I wish I could have because, you know, it's like this. It's
It's not too late.
Oh, Lord, I'd have to take forever to catch up.
You can just start today. You got plenty of time left.
Yeah.
May 19th is, I mean, the next few months are going to be insane. We're watching what's happening in Minnesota. What tools does the Attorney General's office have to combat illegal immigration and kind of keep us out of what's happening in Minneapolis?
So I've got so many things to say about that. So I don't think that people understand. Let's say, for example, law enforcement pulls over an office or pulls a car over and they go and guy says, I don't have a driver's license, but I have my social security number. And you go back and run it. And let's say it comes up. They could be actually a foreign national. They could be here legally and could have an Alabama driver's license. You get a social security number. So you get all those things. There's a lot of tools that we need to have in place in Alabama to assist our law enforcement in attempting to combat illegal immigration. Okay. So Alabama, the AG's office can work. You're the top law enforcement officer, right? You can work with those agencies across the state and you're working with your federal partners to identify potential areas where you believe there could be pockets of illegal immigrants. Look, I think we all agree we're not against immigration. What we want is legal immigrants to come to our state to participate. So as AG, we're going to make sure we're training our local officers to understand and identify those people that are here illegally, and also to notify federal partners. There were years, especially as DA, that you would call the feds and call the feds and call the feds. Hey, I got somebody here, And it would take forever to get somebody with ICE or an ICE hold to come and pick somebody up. And so we've seen that transition during the Trump administration to where it's a lot easier to get our federal partners to pick up people here who are here illegally. I'll never forget prosecuting a human trafficking case for somebody who was here legally, right? Yeah. And they kept saying, just let us deport him. Let us deport him. The defense attorneys did. And I said, no, I owe a duty to all the children in the world to not put him back out on the streets. And so I think as AG, you do a really good job working with law enforcement, identifying that and understanding what the tools are. Yeah, and the public's got to understand that law enforcement has a role to play. They're not the big bad boogeyman. You know, I always find it interesting. Half the people think law enforcement's big bad boogeyman, and the other people appreciate what they do. But when these people have a problem and they call 911, who do they expect to show up? Law enforcement. Yeah. And they want them to help them.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, law enforcement's understaffed, underpaid, and overworked. And they are the people putting their life on the line for us every single day. And, you know, you see those decisions that are made spur of the moment.
Welcome back to The Right Side. We are the right show, the right place at the right time. This is The Right Side. Thank you for letting us go through the forum last night, discuss all the pros and cons, ins and outs. We hope you enjoyed our interview with Reed Ingram. And we also hope you'll go down to his farm market in Montgomery, which is unbelievable if you've never been.
Is it Pike Road?
It's not
Pike Road.
Yeah, it's south of Montgomery, right?
It is. It's on your way back. If you're coming up from Troy, it's on Troy Highway. But it is incredible. And now, though, finally, it is time for the montage.
Michael Hughes.
I go back to South Carolina. I'm asking them to send their sons and daughters over to the Mideast. What I want you to do in the Mideast, to our friends in Saudi Arabia and other places, step forward and say, this is my fight too.
I got to be careful what I say about Lindsey. I don't want to get my phone carpet bombed out here.
About an Alabama man on death row who did not kill anyone. Charles Sonny Burton was set to be executed on Thursday. But just hours ago, the governor commuted his death sentence.
We're thankful for everyone who played a role in advocating for this. We're thankful, most importantly, to Governor Ivey for doing the right thing. This is not the type of case where a man should have been executed. And I thank her on behalf of him, on behalf of everybody in this space, for doing the right thing in this case.
We don't have the votes either to proceed, get on a talking filibuster, nor to sustain one if we got on it. For better or worse, I'm the one who has to be the clear-eyed realist about what we can achieve here.
We're one step closer now to getting the Save America Act on the Senate floor. How exactly that's going to happen? Well, we're still working on that. Very best shot we've got at doing this is invoking the talking filibuster. Make Democrats stand up, get recognized, and speak. If they want to filibuster the bill, don't give it to them for free. Don't let them have the benefits of the filibuster while they're napping or on vacation. I'm not going to back away from the fact that I think that is the best possible chance of passing this bill, perhaps the only way.
Well,
I think he was about to drop an F-bomb in there.
Yeah, I think he was.
That was funny.
good restraint, sir.
Mike Lee
Whomever
is-
you were.
Mike Lee is fired up.
Mm.
Where do y'all want to start?
Well,
Alabama.
Well, let me just say, I mean, we don't have to go long on that because I feel like every day is just a new sound clip from Lindsey Graham about the war.
Yeah.
So I'll just say this. I know we joke about Lindsey, but being 70-something years old, not choosing not to have children, they speculate about your sexuality, whatever. The thing with Lindsey is he clearly does not have stake in America's past his life. And I like that may be a little bit too deep or maybe reading too much into it, but when you've got a family, when you've got kids, when you have actual stake past, just you in this life and selfishly indulging in all that you want in this life, you look past what you, and when you go and ask other people to send their kids to the Middle East and your constituents to the Middle East and say it so flippantly and like doesn't even care, I think there's something more to that. Like when you actually have stake that's going to be here past you when you die, then you probably think twice before being so flippant and loving war and asking other people to send their kids to die. It's just, it's frustrating because clearly Lindsey's not thinking about anything other than Lindsey. And we need less of those types of people that are representing us. We need people who are actually thinking past themselves.
But did you watch the entire interview? Did you see the whole clip?
Yeah, he was talking about, allies standing up.
Right.
But I mean, I guess my point is in passing, like, yeah, I got to go to South Carolina and tell people to send their kids to the Middle East. So you need to step it up. Like that's just to say it so flippantly, especially with something like this war. I don't know. It's frustrating to see people like Lindsey, who I don't think are thinking about anything other than themselves because they don't have anything past them here in this country.
Lindsey Graham. Sure, you can do that and say that as long as you go first.
Right.
And you lead the parade of people over there. But we don't want people to go there at all, period. But if the rest of you that believe like, oh yeah, let's just put boots on the ground. And you're right. He's not thinking about anything but it's war. Oh, goody. No, you go first.
See,
you go first.
I have lots of issues with things Lindsey Graham says, but that actually didn't bother me because if you listen to the whole thing, he talks about, he's like, hey, Middle East, we need y'all to step up. We're over there fighting this war and y'all aren't helping us. And then he says, and I'm going back to South Carolina and I'm asking, my constituents to send their sons and daughters over to war, which is exactly what's happening. Sons and daughters are dying in war. So that clip didn't bother me. It is his overall flippancy, yes, towards war. He went on Maria, whatever her name is.
Maria Bartiromo.
Bartiromo. And, had the free Cuba hat and was like, and next, what's the guy? Not Dean Cain. Not Dean Cain. He's the actor. Who is the guy that?
Will Cain?
No, hold on. I do this every time. Not Howard Dean. Howard Dean.
Woohoo!
Yes.
Remember,
there's like, we're going to Washington. We're going to Idaho. We're going back. Okay, that's what Lindsey Graham was like. We're going to Venezuela. Now we're going to Iran, and then we're going to Cuba. It's like, he just cannot get over himself. We're going to take out the whole world. But
using our children as chiclets.
Yes. Not cool, Lindsey.
I'm back to you go first, Lindsey.
Yeah. And I hear what you're saying, Allison. But why to even ask them to send their kids to this in the first place?
Well, yeah. I hope Trump doesn't.
Agree. 100%.
In terms of the boots on the ground part.
Which, by the way, I mean, we can move on from but I'm
Yeah.
curious, you've lived in South Carolina.
Yes.
Don't
go.
Well, okay. So I guess do you think Lindsey's kind of, I don't even know, is he running for re-election?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Do you think he's actually still loved in South Carolina? I know you're not living there now, but do you think he's actually still popular enough to stick around?
He thinks he's popular enough to stick around. There's been a lot of change. Charleston's become a more liberal city, although they did elect a Republican mayor. It was very Republican when I was there, very much Bush country. That's how long ago it's been. But Lindsey obviously thinks he still has the capital, and they send Nancy Mace. So yes, but less so than in years past.
But you can't, I mean, that's the problem with this whole election system. You can't beat him. Nobody's going to run against him because literally why the heck President Trump loves him, I don't know. Kind of weird.
I think he sees him as like his little muse.
Yeah, but he doesn't do anything to help
muse.
you. It's weird. So if you do run against him, the whole force of every single pack, all the Donald Trumpness is coming at you, and it's just a waste of money. So whether they want him or not, they're stuck with him.
Yeah. Elections have consequences. Okay, number 2. This John Thune situation. This, we don't have enough votes. Come on.
Can I read something that a listener sent me this morning?
Yes.
I think it's very astute. Do you all know who Sean Davis is?
Yes.
Okay. Who is he?
I just know him as like a commentator on X. He may be more than that, but that's how I know him.
Okay. This is what he wrote. Y'all, it's a little bit long, but stick with me. Understand what Thune is doing right now. We talk about political theater all the time. It's not enough for him to kill the Save America Act. Thune has to kill it while also protecting his worst rhino colleagues from being exposed for opposing it. How does Thune accomplish this? By avoiding a simple majority vote at all. Thune knows a public vote where Republicans get less than 50 votes, with people like Tillis, Curtis, McConnell, and Murkowski voting against it, is electoral poison. He doesn't want to pass, but he also can't have it die at the hands of his own puke colleagues. So how does Thune do this? By refusing to move to the already passed House bill. So remember, the House passed the Save America Act. You refuse to move the already passed House bill because this only requires a simple majority because the House message is privileged. So once it passes one House, it moves to the front of the line and the threshold for passing is lowered. And instead you move to a new bill, a new standalone Senate bill. A new Senate bill is not privileged, and therefore the motion to proceed it to debate means it requires 60 votes. Thune needs to kill the SAVE Act, not expose any of his GOP colleagues as being against it, and be able to pretend that he tried. This is the actual Senate GOP trifecta. So when you watch the GOP Senate bring up a new Save America standalone bill and hold a single vote on a motion that needs 60 to pass, know what they're doing. No, they're doing it because they think you're stupid.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Yeah, no.
Well, no, I was just saying I agree.
I saw something Glenn Beck said, which made me then write additional ideas beyond what he said, which is so good. But not passing the SAVE Act and pretending that they can't is the truest thing they've done in a while. They're telling the truth. We don't want to, so we won't. Meanwhile, as we are fighting fraud in Fulton County and Maricopa County, finding out that there's actual fraud that we know that American citizens did, we're also trying to fight the illegals from voting, which we know they've done. And you know the one thing these people can be trusted to vote on? The Sexcapades cover-up fund. But they won't vote on what we want because they're too darn lazy to do it. If they have the filibuster, they have to stay. They can't go on vacation. They can't leave the building. They've got to manage it. They have to set all these rules and parameters out, and they won't do it because they don't want to. They'll vote for their friends so nobody finds out whose name's on the list and who's used the Sexcapade slush fund. But they're too freaking lazy. That's all this is. They're lazy, and they don't want to do this because it takes time away from other things that they want to do. But by not doing it, they are telling us who they are. And I wish I knew the switchboard number by heart so we could tell people to call, because I know people want to call. But we should not be surprised, but I remain surprised by these people.
But this is what they do. They do it in Montgomery. They do it in DC. They do it in every state. This is the equivalent of, you know what? The House is probably going to pass the closed primary bill.
Mm-hmm.
And Speaker Ledbetter and his people are going to be able to say they passed it. And right now, they do not, and this is true, they do not have the votes in the Senate to pass it.
Right.
And some of the concerns I've heard are legitimate. I mean, again, we've talked about it. The closed primary is not this magic bullet to, election total integrity. But again, how convenient. The House passes it. They all get credit. But just it failed in the Senate. We tried. And that's what they're going to do with the SAVE Act. You know what? We brought our own bill because, everybody cries for standalone bills, especially with spending. So we brought our own standalone bill. And it just didn't pass the 60 vote count threshold. I'm sorry. We tried. And everybody gets to save face.
Well, yeah. They think you're stupid comment with this applies completely.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, technically, John Thune's not lying. Yeah, I'm sure. Which, by the way, the main onus is on Republican voters who don't pay attention and show up in the primaries because they send these Republicans to D.C.
That's right.
They send the squishy Republicans like Thune and Cornyn and Tillis to D.C. And instead of people who you don't have to worry about earning their vote just to enforce a talking filibuster. Like, if we don't even have Republicans that are on board to enforce a talking filibuster, then we've got a serious problem. Mm-hmm. But it's like you said, like, why enact a new bill? Just pass or bring up what the House passed. And so clearly it's either blatant incompetence, which I don't think is the case. I think it's a not want to. But again, like I said, it starts with Republican voters because you got to send better people to DC who are not going to do this.
What does it mean that Katie Britt was standing right behind John Thune?
She's one of the she is one of the top GOP senators that works on stuff like this. I mean, she worked to get the government back open. Like, I think she's among like 4 or 5 that are actively working with Democrats to try to accomplish things. I think that's just all that is.
But I think with Tillis, with Thune, and you mentioned McConnell, just in your head when you hear those names, picture the s'more-sized marshmallows for their head. That's who they are. And you're right. We don't pay enough attention, and we don't know that, like we talked about with Lindsey Graham, elections have consequences. And that's why we exist. That's why this show is here. It's to sound the alarm and to ask you to please call and get your family and friends in other states to please call and ask them, are we allowed to cuss on the show?
I mean, we're
What the heck are they doing? What the Hale County are you doing? Not passing the thing that would be a massive difference maker in our country.
Who do you call? John Thune?
You can call the switchboard at the Senate. You can tweet at them. That's the easiest way to get connected with them. You can DM them if they are on Instagram. You can truth them because many of them pretend to be conservatives and they're really not. Probably X is the best way to tweet at them and ask them to pass the Save America Act. But what the Hale County are they doing? You want to cover up the sexcapades. People are fighting hard to expose what happened in Fulton County with that election stolen, with Maricopa County. People are out there fighting. And y'all are up there not doing the will of the people because you don't want to. And you're protected by your donors. And you're protected by your sponsors. You're protected. And meanwhile, who gets screwed? We do every time. Every time.
Do we want to save Sonny Burton and hot flash news?
We can do Sonny Burton now.
Yeah.
Well, we got about 2 minutes. So
Yeah, Sonny's not going to take long. I mean, he did not pull the trigger. The guy that did pull the trigger got life without parole, not the death penalty. So Ivey commuted his sentence to life without parole. But Steve Marshall very strongly disagrees with that decision. But I'm not exactly sure why.
He said that Sonny Burton was the mastermind. And then after the robbery gone wrong that became the shooting, not only was he the mastermind, but he split up the money and divvied it out after it was over. So he thought that's why his sentence shouldn't have been commuted.
But the person that actually pulled the trigger, his sentence was reduced.
That's just what Steve said on stage last night.
yeah, the actual trigger man getting his sentence reduced.
That doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make
either.
sense, and I don't think if that were to not happen, or if his case was not reduced, then I think Sonny would be going along with him. But I think it's the fact that the actual gunman's got reduced that Sonny's, who didn't even pull the trigger.
But you can be put to death for just coming up with a plan.
I mean, it's capital murder, like being an accomplice.
Right. But if your trigger puller that was part of the master plan isn't.
I support the decision if the trigger man didn't. So
Yeah.
The real question is, why is somebody on death row for that long anyway? Since 1991, our system is very broken. How about let's get to work on that part?
Maybe General Marshall will come on and talk about it. Because I read the article, but I didn't really, he just said from what I saw, he said her answer wasn't sufficient. But I don't know what his answer is. All right, you're listening to The Right Side. We'll be right back.
JP here with Right Side. I need to remind you that Inspire Advisors is one of our sponsors, and they are doing amazing work. We know this audience, and you're the kind of folks who believe in standing up for your principles and being good stewards of your resources. What if the companies you're invested in don't reflect your values at all? That's why you need to meet Paul Breyer and his team at Inspire Advisors. Inspire Advisors, they are experts in the field of biblically responsible investing. They can help you grow your bottom line while also being proud of what companies you invest in. Inspire Advisors, you got to go check them out. Here's their website, www.moneypatternwealth.com, and tell them you heard about it on Right Side Radio.
It's hard. It's hard to wear a badge. It's hard to make. I've seen that for almost 20 years talking to guys, and people are leaving the force. I've got local people who are leaving because it isn't worth it to them anymore to be dragged through the mud if they make the wrong decision at the wrong time or what's perceived to be the wrong decision.
Well, pivoting from that, let's talk about election integrity. What are the non-negotiables for election integrity?
Well, let me tell you what I discovered over the last 2 weeks. We just indicted a gentleman in Blount County for a non-U.S. citizen voting in our elections. He had voted 9 times. Did you know that when you go to a restaurant, everybody, and I've kind of had this debate on social media lately, if I take someone down to register them, voter, not me, just let's say, your sister goes, she moves to Alabama, She goes down to register. A photo ID is not required to register as long as you have a driver's license or you have a social security number. Well, let's stop for a second. People who are here legally, foreign nationals get a social security number and they get a driver's license number. As long as you put that driver's license number on it and it verifies as a valid license, you're on the voting rolls. Now let's take a foreign national. He never had to show his driver's license. Had he been required to show his driver's license, at the top it says FN driver's license, foreign national. Okay, he's now on our voting rolls or our voting list. He goes down to vote, and this is what's happening. Presents his foreign national driver's license. And let me stop and say, poll workers are angels from God. You have to sit there 14 hours.
Yep.
You can't leave, can't come back, type situation. We have polling pads. You scan your driver's license. A foreign national license will shoot up an error message. All the poll worker will do is take that license, confirm he's on that list, and give him a ballot, him or her a ballot. Okay, now, that's a problem. There's a presumption if you're on that voting list that you are a U.S. citizen. Okay? I hand you a foreign national license, they may go, well, now this is a foreign national license, but you can say, well, I got citizenship since I had my license made. There are so many holes, and it's scary, you know. And look, there was a long time I thought some of this was rhetoric. Oh, we're talking about, that's a problem. And people say, oh, well, Pamela, it was only one vote in Blount County. Well, if you look at that Gunnersville mayor's race this past summer, it was a tie vote. If you look at that Senate race down in Auburn several years ago, it was determined by one vote. And I think it just goes to show one vote matters. You know, you have so many people in the state and the country is like, I'm not going to vote. My vote doesn't count. It doesn't matter. It does. And if we allow non-U.S. citizens to vote in our election, it's canceling out the legal votes that are out there. So, you know, that's a big issue that's got to be fixed. Is we've got to get the legislature to require that you provide some type of photo identification. Because here's the thing, I've dealt with identity theft cases years. What stops somebody from just getting somebody's driver's license number, going down there, putting it on the paper and getting on our voting list when they're not here legally? So I think that is a problem, but I think it's an easy fix.
So in addition to that, are there any other safeguards that you would want to implement to?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it ever hurts to audit our elections. Okay. And let me just say this. I mean, I get audited by the public examiners. You know, I've been audited 4 times since I've been DA. And all that is checking to make sure you're doing what's right. I've never worried about an audit. I've had 4 perfect audits because I'm like, I ain't doing anything wrong. I don't care. I think it's important that we do audit our different ballots to make sure it's working. You know, I've talked to my guys who set the machines up several times. I'm like, tell me how that works. That's the conversation I wanted to have. And they tell me there's no way those are connected to the internet, this and that. But we all know that machines are fallible, and you just got to make sure they're working correctly. It all works right until it doesn't.
That's so true.
So let's talk about the office. How does the AG use the departments within the state government to serve the people of Alabama well?
Okay. Let's talk about, you got criminal appeals, you got capital litigation, you've got public corruption, you've got the trial division, the civil division. So every different division within that office serves a purpose or role. First of all, over half of the employees that work in there handle a criminal aspect.
Welcome back to The Right Side. I am Amy Beth Shaver with Allison Sinclair and JP. And we are literally 3/4 of the way through the show.
That's kind of crazy.
It's flown by.
Yeah. Wonder why.
Flown by. But you know what? You know what we haven't missed? You know what you haven't missed right here on The Right Side? You haven't missed Hot Flash News.
Excuse me.
And that, folks, is what I'm guessing a hot flash feels like.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I've never had one.
I've never had a hot flash. I assume.
Do it.
I assume that's how it would feel. However,
it's flashing hot.
It is flashing hot, I hear.
Hey, this is appropriate because my first story is about Donald Trump. The Wall Street Journal is reporting, this is the headline. Forget MAGA hats. The president is guessing shoe sizes and handing out dress shoes to his friends and advisors. Apparently, Trump keeps telling staffers that they have ugly shoes.
No way.
And he's going out and buying them new ones for $145 a pair. Apparently, he likes the Florsham leather Oxfords. And he's starting to guess people's shoe size.
Could somebody get Lindsey new shoes?
Clearly needs them.
Somebody find Lindsey a husband. That'd be great.
Phenomenal.
Maybe calm down.
Stop hitting on me.
Can we put in tomorrow's montage that video that I sent y'all of, y'all remember, wait, his name, do you remember the little guy, the comedian guy during COVID?
Now.
Yeah. What was his name? I think it was Lindsey something.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just going to look up Nashville gay comedian
on.
and see what comes up.
Yeah. He was from Chattanooga.
Or Chattanooga. Sorry.
Was he large?
No. He
No.
was Leslie Jordan.
Leslie Jordan. Sounds just like Lindsey Graham. Y'all, tomorrow in the montage, stick around for that. Just stay on the page until tomorrow.
Like for 21
So you
hours
don't
and
miss
27 minutes. Don't go
So
anywhere.
look, Daddy, look.
It's hysterical. If y'all don't remember Leslie Jordan from COVID, he's what kept us all going. And then he just died. It's really sad.
I really hope he didn't get the vax.
I actually don't know how he died.
He's so funny. You talk about mama. Okay. Hey, good news. The NBA has canceled the strip club theme night.
Yes. I saw the Hawks put up a statement about that.
Yes.
Oh, they did?
Mhm.
What did the statement
Here,
state?
I'll pull it up while you're
Hold on,
talking.
I might have it. Oh, here we go. You want me to read it?
Yeah.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. When we became aware of the Atlanta Hawks schedule promotion, we reached out to the Hawks leadership to better understand their plans and rationale. I don't think there is one, except that's where everybody goes on this team. And so we're going to support our friends.
Our girls.
Okay, that's not in the press release. While we appreciate the team's perspective and their desire to move forward.
Bless him.
Move forward? We have heard significant concerns from a broad array of league stakeholders, including fans, partners, and employees. I believe canceling this promotion is the right decision for the broader NBA community. Can you imagine taking your kids to that game and being like, Daddy, I want to go to the Magic City? Son, it's illegal, but your favorite players are supporting it.
Right. Well, I actually got the Hawks comments right now responding. They said, while we are very disappointed in the NBA's decision to cancel our Magic City night promotion, we fully respect this decision. As a franchise, we remain committed to celebrating the best of Atlanta with authenticity in ways that continue to unite and bring us all together. There's nothing like bringing all of us together like strippers, I guess.
What?
I mean,
Atlanta's best, or the best of Atlanta.
that's your best. Cute.
Y'all, my hair is wild today.
Is
Abs, your hair always looks perfect. You don't
So is
ever
mine.
mess with it.
Your hair is great.
It's always on point.
You guys, isn't it funny that in a liberal wacko league like the NBA, you don't ever, the men know where to find the women. So nobody wonders who are boys and who are girls. And also no girls ever try to get in the NBA and play with them. I think that's funny. Ironic.
I bet the men know where to find the men too.
I bet they do.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Just ridiculous.
That's what I'm hearing.
The best of Atlanta.
I swear, everybody's gay.
No, they just think they are.
No, I mean, like I heard some things allegedly about some members of Congress the other day. I'm like, what the heck is happening?
It is weird.
All right, here's some other good news. Michigan rep not seeking re-election because she can't, quote, be a faithful follower of Jesus Christ while remaining a member of the Democratic Party.
Hey.
Do you think we're at that point?
Yes, I do. Because you're asking the people who are Democrats to defend things that biblically are indefensible.
Right.
Gay marriage, abortion, mutilating children.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be one thing if it was a fringe part of the party, but Kamala Harris, she said this, her core foundational platform was abortion. They had vasectomy vans outside the DNC. Like, they are obsessed with depopulation.
That was the best.
So, yeah. And on top of the transgender, like, it's not just, oh, we got this. It is the platform of the party now.
Yeah.
So
Good for her. I'm impressed.
Yeah. Now, I don't know why she doesn't just go and run as a Republican. Maybe she thinks the Republicans aren't doing a great job either. I don't know. I'm going to play a clip, and I'm pretty sure it has the bad words bleeped out. If it doesn't, though,
Pretty sure.
we're not on the radios.
yeah, so we just apologize if any children are listening.
So someone on the street interviewed Gene Simmons. Do you know who that is? Okay. The lead singer of Kiss. And I'll play it, but he's talking about in response to something Ben Stiller said. Ben Stiller is a great actor, but Ben Stiller apparently was talking politics, and they asked Gene Simmons what he thought about it. Let's see if
We're playing it the old-fashioned way.
Now Ben Stiller is calling out the president, saying he doesn't want him to use his movie clips for war propaganda. I mean, it sounds like a lot of people are kind of, criticizing Trump, like Hollywood right now, over this war thing. Is that fair?
Yeah, because everybody in the world should listen to what actors and comedians say, because they're so qualified. Basically, shut the up. Do your art and shut up. Nobody's interested in your opinions. That includes me. Who I vote for, who I like. Who the do you think you are? People in America work hard for their living, and they don't want to be lectured to by people who live in mansions and drive Rolls Royces. It's time for everybody in the entertainment industry to shut their pie hole and just do your art. Nobody cares what you think. I don't.
Okay.
What will Mark Ruffalo, however the he pronounces his
Mark
name?
Ruffalo, yeah.
Ruffalo, Buffalo. What does Mark think about politics? I don't care.
So you think celebrities?
That's
he
good.
just keeps going. Shut your pie hole and do your art.
I love shut your pie hole.
I mean,
How about that?
could it get any more filled with truth right there?
Thank you, Gene Simmons.
That's true.
And look at Hollywood. Their movies are terrible. I haven't seen a good movie come out of Hollywood in years.
It's been a minute.
Okay.
Mission Impossible.
Oppenheimer was pretty
Oppenheimer
sick.
was pretty good.
One of the greatest movies I've ever seen. But other than that,
You do have to close your eyes through some of it. It's fine. Fast forward. That was a good
JP
movie,
does
though.
this. Hey, ladies.
my aunt took like my 13-year-old cousin to that and didn't know it was in there.
That's awkward.
But now, yeah, I agree. Like, if there's a actor or comedian that openly supports or agrees with me, then like, okay, cool. But I'm not like needing their validation to believe what I believe.
It's true. It's true.
A California bishop has been fired by the Pope.
Ooh, really?
After allegedly stealing $250,000 from his church and making several trips to a Mexican brothel.
I thought they weren't supposed to be with the ladies.
Well, it doesn't say if it was a boy or girl brothel.
Well, you're not supposed to be with boys either.
Yeah, not either.
Sorry, male
Especially.
or female.
Not married. There's no I can ban. There's no I canning.
But look, I don't know.
I don't know.
Is your radar going off?
No, it's
hold
not.
on. Show me.
Viva Mexico.
Let me see. Where's? Oh, he's going to the land.
It looks like,
dude,
he would like to go to Magic City night with the Hawks.
Show the camera.
How?
Just put it up.
Okay. Do you want to see him?
Yes, him.
But
you will be surprised at the double life
he
this
looks
man
like
was
you're
leading.
gonna have to zoom in.
How much money did he spend?
200. I don't know which way to go.
There.
Okay. Anyway, $250,000 on a brothel in Mexico. At least he tried. He didn't go like down the street. He tried to get out of the country. That's all I have to say about that.
Oh, bless it.
Okay. Well,
All right.
he's
Okay.
fired.
All right.
All right, y'all are gonna
Afuera.
You're fired.
y'all are going to follow along with this one. Okay. This is where we get serious. Those were fun. I should have broken the fun ones up. All right. In Israel, put your thinking caps on.
Okay, it's on.
A bill passes preliminary vote to criminalize Christian prayer at the Western Wall with a 7-year prison sentence. So Emerald Robinson posted, "My fellow Americans, the Christian Zionists have lost." How? They were just abandoned by their ally.
They're very pro LGBTQ in Israel. They're very I think the most abortions in the world happen in Israel.
Yep.
They're pro then gay marriage. And it's very hard to talk to anybody about Christianity. So I can see where they would go with this. But most people don't know that.
Right.
It's Israel. Don't ask questions.
Well, the foundation of, and this is just a fact, you can support Israel and, the state of Israel all you want, but this is a fact. The pillar of Judaism is that, and this is in the Talmud, that Jesus is burning in human excrement in hell. And they spit on Christians that go and tour Israel. The whole foundation is that Jesus was a blasphemous liar, not God. And they actually are hostile to Christians and Christianity. That's just a fact. Not every single Jewish person, but that is the basis of their religion. So that's just how it is. So their Wailing Wall, that's their, which, by the way, the destruction of the temple, Jesus proclaimed that, and Jesus actually prophesied or predicted that in the Olivet Discourse. There's some dispute about that, but that's what I believe. Mm-hmm. So that was the ending of the old covenant and a fulfilled prophecy from Jesus. That's it to our religion, but to their religion, it is anti-Christian, and it is,
because
what
he's
it is.
Not the Messiah.
Right.
They're still waiting.
So if you're a Christian, I think you have to do some observing or some examination about, is the basis of your Christ or your Christianity Christ, or is it been twisted to Israel because of dispensationalism?
All right. Well, I'm going to juxtapose
Go ahead.
that bill that was just passed in the Israeli parliament with statements made yesterday by U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee. We're going to play this the old school way again. Okay, here we go.
I get asked all the time, because I'm a Christian, and they say, well, why are you so supportive of the Jewish people? I said, you can be Jewish. You don't have to have anything to do with Christians, but you can't be a Christian and not understand that your entire faith is built on the foundation of Judaism. So for Christians, we look at this as an obligation, a moral debt that we must repay. And therefore, I don't understand anyone who says, I'm a Christian, but I don't really want to support the Jews. Well, how can you do that? But it is not the view of those of us who are what I would call biblical believers that accept that what the scripture says about the Jewish people. In Genesis 12, those who bless Israel will be blessed. Those who curse Israel will be cursed. It gets pretty simple. When I say there's a miracle every day in this country.
So he basically said, if you don't agree and support the Jews, and he's talking about biblical perspective Jews, that you aren't a biblical Christian. But the Israeli Jewish parliament just banned Christians from praying under it at the Wailing Wall with a 7-year sentence of prison. So how do you reconcile those two?
It amazes me that a pastor, which is what Mike Huckabee was, gets scripture.
But he's a
so
dispy,
twisted.
though, right? He's a dispy.
It's just disheartening that you will be blessed, or I will bless those who bless you and curse. He's talking to Abraham and the church, not the 1948 state of Israel. Like, it baffles me that we're still at that point.
I agree. It is because of the Second Great Awakening and the way that the church teachings twisted in favor of the Scofield Study Bible and those scammers to believe what is not scriptural at all. The church fathers up until the 1850s did not teach the things that people are teaching about Israel. They understood, Calvin, Knox, Zwingli, those guys, that it's exactly as you said. When the church fell, or the temple was sacked and the fall of Jerusalem happened in AD 70, that was the beginning of the church age. But they were done. Israel was done, and the church is the new Israel. And those who are Jews who believe in Christ, different story. You are a believer. You're grafted into the vine. But it is very bothersome that we do not know our church history, and we do not know the historical teaching, and we do not understand all that came out of after the Second Great Awakening and Mormonism, for example, and certain sects of, I can't even think of the word of the church right now, but there's so many things that happened after the Second Great Awakening that were not great, that changed the face of the church and changed the teaching. We're not dealing with the same group. We're just not. And the other part, let's remind, is what was the name of Israel going to be before they wrote a pencil through it?
Herzlland.
It was going to be called Herzlland.
What does that even mean?
It's after Theodore
Pretzel land.
Theodore Herzl, the father of Zionism.
So it wasn't even going to be named Israel?
No. At the last minute, they changed the name.
So what would we have done and believed if it was called Herzlland?
It's funny.
That is the question, isn't it?
Right. That's what Rich Lutz, Pastor Rich Lutz, said on the show. Like, imagine how much in a different spot we would be now if that name was just not Israel.
So it's...
There were 5 name options. Herzlland was at the top of the list.
I'm glad they didn't choose that one.
Me too. But it would be a different story. So perhaps we might want to look at, maybe we can post some teachings from Rich Lusk or a guy named Bruce Gore, who takes us through history. He's out in Washington State and teaches about this, because it's not enough to just talk about it. We have to understand that what Ambassador Huckabee is saying does not square with historical teaching from the church. That's not what has always been known. And never forget, Israel was going to be called Herzlland. That doesn't excuse any sort of anti-Semitism that's out there. That's hideous. But Israel tells us all the time how they feel about us, and we're not listening.
Most of us were raised, though, to view the church the way Mike Huckabee is speaking, and to view Israel and the Jews. So it's very hard I've had to learn and go back and reread a lot of things and rethink a lot of things, still hashing it out, because most of us aren't taught that. It's like in school, most of us aren't taught correct history. And you can land wherever you want to land, but do your homework. Don't just take it because it's what you've always been told, at your church or whatever. This is going to be an audience participation, but we need to talk about what happened with Morgan Murphy yesterday.
Who's Morgan Murphy?
Morgan Murphy was running for the U.S. Senate. He used to be Tommy Tuberville's national security advisor or something in his office, connected with D.C. He also used to be the editor of Southern Living. Is that it? He's done so much.
When you look at Morgan Murphy, it says food critic on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
He was in the Navy because his campaign material said Captain Morgan.
Yeah, he was a Navy Reserve captain.
Yeah. So Morgan Murphy's kind of done it all, but here's what happened. If you missed it, I did a little video about it. but I talk just like this because this story seems like it would be allegedly like just a rumor, but it's true. So Morgan was polling at like 1%. And I'm sure he got a call because he does have connections with the Trump team and Tommy Tuberville. Like, hey, thing about Morgan is he has lots of money, which is important for the rest of the story. Remember that. He has lots of money. Probably was like, hey, if you drop out, we'll help you if you want to run for something else. So the 9th. Was that yesterday?
Yeah. Or excuse me. No, 2 days ago.
Okay. Yeah. The 9th was the last day to drop out of the race to where your name would not be included on the ballot. Apparently, Morgan Murphy alerted the Secretary of State's office that he planned to drop out and he would not like his name on the ballot. Okay. I went and looked up the rules. It actually does not say what time you have to turn in. This is just the preliminary bylaw party rules and it actually came from the Secretary of State's office, but it doesn't have a time. So one person said midnight, one person said close of business. I don't know. All I know is that allegedly Morgan Murphy talked to the Secretary of State's office, said, hey, take me off. I don't want to be on the ballot. The office said, okay, cool. You're good. A few hours later, Morgan's campaign gets a call. Just hearing this. Allegedly. Hey, oops. We've already printed ballots in 4 counties. Okay, that's a problem. And then later, I think they maybe got another call that said, hey, it might be in 67 counties.
Oh, gosh. That's all of them.
That's all of them. So Morgan Murphy is not happy because he doesn't want his name on the ballot. He said in his press release that he withdrew his name because he wanted to unify the GOP and get behind Barry Moore, who has the Trump endorsement, and support him. If his name's still on the ballot, people can still vote for him, but they don't count. So it takes away votes from other candidates. Wes Allen's side says, we did the right thing. Sorry. We're not changing anything. All the rules were followed. Now what? We're at a standoff.
How did they do the right thing? If Morgan Murphy beat the deadline, then how are you prematurely printing ballots?
Yeah, that doesn't.
Let me see if I can find the actual quote. Because I think this is going to be not great for the state. What's going to happen is potentially Morgan Murphy could sue Wes Allen and the state for printing the ballots. And then what? The state and Morgan waste money on a lawsuit, waste money, whatever. Maybe it's worth it. And then the state has to pay to reprint the ballots. Or I guess Wes Allen could volunteer to reprint the ballots on his own, but that's still the taxpayer money going to reprint ballots. Here is a quote from Wes Allen. The Secretary of State's office has followed Alabama law exactly as written. A candidate's name can only be removed from a party primary ballot if the candidate properly withdraws with the party and the party certifies the withdrawal by the statutory deadline. No certification of withdrawal for Morgan Murphy was received from the Republican Party, so the candidate's name remains on the ballot as required by law. County officials are preparing ballots according to timelines established by the law to ensure timely absentee voting, including for military and overseas voters. Claims that ballots have been printed illegally are incorrect and misleading. Alabama voters can be confident that the election process is being administered lawfully and correctly. Okay, let's play a game. The game is, let's say Morgan Murphy didn't actually didn't talk to the party. Maybe he just called the Secretary of State's office and he didn't notify the party. And it sounds like from Wes Allen that the party is then supposed to notify the Secretary of State's office. The deadline was March 9th. Okay. You should have up until March 9th to remove yourself, correct?
Yeah.
if he had done all that on March 9th, gone through the party notified the Secretary of State's office, the ballots were already being printed.
Right,
So
exactly.
even if he had gone down the right pipeline, we would be here.
It actually would have made it worse because it would have taken longer to inform the Secretary of State's office.
Right.
Yeah, I just don't get that. Like if you're prematurely printing ballots before the deadline, then that is just that's on you. It'd be one thing if West Allen was like, my bad, but to say that they didn't even do anything wrong, that's just.
What do you think is going to happen? What do you think? I can tell Ab's brain is working.
I don't know. I don't know why they're printed this early. That doesn't make any sense at all. Like,
because if the deadline is a deadline,
it's got to be a deadline. But why wouldn't you wait? Like after the deadline, this just doesn't make sense. And then to say we didn't do anything wrong, really? Either you have deadlines or you don't have deadlines. And either he met it or he didn't. And if he did, and you did this, we have problems. And you need to volunteer to reprint the ballots.
So maybe Morgan Murphy didn't follow the correct protocol, but that still doesn't negate.
Yeah. Like, wait, this is 67 counties worth of ballots have already been printed. When have we ever done anything ahead of time?
That's true. That's so true.
Well, I can remember one time that we found some irregularities at a polling place, and we notified the Secretary of State's office, who then was John Merrill, and told him we have a problem, and he certified the election early. So that was early.
When we do it early, it's to our
yeah, exactly.
to our dismay. And with
like do it in a
dollars.
timely manner. You know you can print them early, but make sure you have all T's crossed and all I's dotted.
Now, there's a chance that ES&S printed them early on their own.
Don't do that.
What?
ES&S don't do that.
Well, I mean, ES&S has issues, but
isn't West Allen still responsible? The Secretary of State's office still responsible for that?
Extreme ownership, yes.
Yes, but if ES&S is printing them on their own, I don't know. It still leaves the taxpayers paying to reprint them.
Yeah. So either way, I think we're going to be on the hook for somebody's mistake.
Great.
It's just a whole mess over here. And I don't know what else to say about it, except somebody's gonna.
Interesting.
This is not going to be pretty.
You got a would you rather?
That's why, remember, Morgan Murphy has money.
No, I don't actually. I was too invested in the conversation.
Okay. Would you rather sit through another lieutenant governor's forum or another U.S. Senate forum?
Oh, lieutenant governor.
I'm digging the hatchets on stage.
Yeah. Hey, victory. No weapons were brought last night by the
true.
candidates that we know of.
That's true.
So far, we haven't been called heifers.
So far.
Maybe after the show.
Hey, James Dobson's son, Ryan, is coming on the show tomorrow. He has proppers of his own right. We'll be interviewing him tomorrow. That'll be good. And then next week, we're up to some shenanigans. You just won't even believe what we're doing. It's a lot of shenanigans.
Serious shenanigans. You'll have to stay tuned for that announcement. All right. It was fun. Really, I had fun. I usually do, but today was particularly fun. We'll see y'all tomorrow on the right side.